breaker, breaker into the black. This is Long Haul Preacher, and I ain't going back. I'm a Long Haul Preacher, and I'm just passing through with a few words of wisdom while we're taking in the view. Howdy y'all, and welcome back. Thank you for all of you who've been watching the website longhaulpreacher.space for updates over the last few months. To put it bluntly, between school, work, and daycare mishaps, this has been the first time I have had to sit down in front of the mic for, well, too long. I do appreciate y'all. And no, I am not one of the lucky few to be on the test server for Star Citizen Alpha 3.0, so I won't be reviewing that this week. I'll leave that to the lucky few. What I will talk about today is something every parent either loves or dreads or just plain hates: the road trip. Not now. Even as adults, the road trip can be either the most exciting and fun or the most boring adventure. For my wife and I, for example, we do 2 firmly scheduled trips per year, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and often a few others down to Cortez, Colorado from Denver, Colorado, somewhere between a 6 to 8 hour road trip, depending on the traffic and whether or not we break the speed limit. It's a beautiful drive, don't get me wrong. It takes us over Wolf Creek Pass, sometimes gets a little hair-raising as snow and black ice form up, but then add kids to the mix. The 21st century family relies heavily on pads and DVD players, both of which take added power from the vehicle and take away from what could be a good family time. And before you roll your eyes and think I'm talking about those old-fashioned road trip games and sing-alongs, I will at least spare you those. They're good. There's nothing wrong with them, but they don't match the 21st century family dynamic, do they? How about instead something for everyone, including the driver, that they can enjoy together? Now, obviously that leaves out anything that uses the eyes, so let's focus on the ears, okay? Any good library or truck stop worth anything will know the name of this company.
Graphic Audio. A movie in your mind.
Now, I have been a huge fan of their work because they do not do your everyday audiobook. Instead of 1 or 2 readers, for example, they do an entire theatrical performance, complete with sound effects and a large cast. My personal favorites are 2 book series by Elizabeth Moon, Vata's War, and The Serrano Legacy, 2 very well-written space stories that I recommend for all Star Citizens players down to teens. But I also love the DC Comics and Marvel adaptations. And you can pick up on anything from, say, Batman and Superman to Iron Man and Spider-Man, from the Justice League to the Avengers. And they all are done with assorted voice actors, special effects, and all the humor and grit that you come to expect from some of the most popular comic books around. Speaking of which, a quick warning here, only 2 of the book collections out of everything Graphic Audio has done are considered good for, quote, all ages, unquote. That is the Forest Kingdom Saga's Blue Moon Rising and the Goblin Trilogy. Now, the comics are considered good for 13 years and up, usually due to violence, though language can also be an issue. Yes, and little ears should be protected from the graphic violence and even intergalactically rude language of Guardians of the Galaxy, Rocket and Groot Steal the Galaxy. Now, I don't know if this is anywhere near what graphic novel or comic book series or whatever this is based on had, but if you are a fan of Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, especially the first book, and the movie was at least entertaining, shall we say, you will love the story, trust me. See, it is narrated by a Rigelian recorder, an android of a bunch of androids sent out into the galaxy to record and analyze huge amounts of data regarding the rest of the galaxy. In other words, a guide to the galaxy, or galactic encyclopedia if you prefer. Now, just like the Hitchhiker's Guide, he will often go into segues regarding this or that little interesting fact. As for the two main characters of the narration, of course, it is Rocket Raccoon and his tree-like companion Groot. Not now. No. The two, along with the latter out of the black edition of Gamora, end up in one battle after another, often just trying to survive and escape, as the galaxy at large seems to collapse on top of them.
Rocket Raccoon surveys the carnage. Given that the Oh What the Flark event horizon was comprehensively crossed earlier in the evening, he has no idea what kind of event horizon this is. However, I realize that he is deep in the machinations of tactical genius.
We've got to get out of here!
I am Groot.
Rocket is scooping spare power mags out of the pouches of his bandolier. He starts to scamper away from us. I see he is plucking the containment plugs out of the power mags. The consequences of the centipede thing biting the Nitro 66 have given him an idea.
Grab the recorder, dude!
Groot obligingly picks me up and starts striding across the sand after his tiny friend. At first it looks as though Rocket is heading for the immense portcullis gate that leads out of the pit into the animal pens. But no, this is not the case. He is heading for the ursine quadruped. The ursine, only moments earlier, had thundered past us chewing on some gladiators and pit marshals who had the misfortune to wind up in its parking garage mouth. Rocket leaps and manages to grab hold of one of the broken chains it is trailing. He races up the links, climbing up the beast's flank and onto its plated back. This is indeed akin to climbing the reins of a runaway horse. But Rocket is nimble and agile, and his disconcertingly human-like hands evidently afford great prehensile grip. He is on its back. He is between its shoulder blades, hanging onto the huge rusty spikes of its collar. All we can see of him is his bushy tail, flapping around at the back of the ursine's head. From our vantage point, loyal reader, it appears the ursine is wearing what you would call a Davy Crockett hat.
Steer, Flark, you!
The ursine does not respond to the various tugs and heaves Rocket is applying to the spiked collar, so Rocket snakes his admirable silky brush of a tail around and uses the tip to tickle the beast's right ear. That does it. Irritated, the ursine steers to the left, directly toward the cage gate of the animal pens. Rocket rises in the saddle and hurls the power mags. Power mags are containment reservoirs that hold considerable amounts of energy, as the now headless centipede thing will no doubt attest. They are designed to remain inert and highly stable, not exploding or releasing all their energy in one go, for example, to survive the rough and tumble of space war. That is, unless the containment plugs are deliberately removed, something a sane person would only do the moment before sliding a power mag into a weapons receiver slot. The destabilized power mags sail through the air. As was the case with the one bitten in half by the centipede, they are not in any way influenced by the arena level's jamming fields. They strike the bars of the portcullis. The portcullis explodes. The archway surrounding it shivers upward in a cloud of flame. This in turn causes another large section of the ring wall and the seating tiers it supports, along with quite a number of Fight Night aficionados, to collapse. Utter mayhem ensues.
Halt. Expositional protocol.
The superlative limits of the term mayhem will evidently need to be upgraded and redefined during the course of this narrative. I estimate I should have done this at least 3 times already. And we have only just started, really.
Resume narrative mode.
Rocket leaps from the ursine's back. It keeps going at full gallop and crashes through the ruined gateway, tearing down everything that the power mag blast hasn't. Still carrying me under his arm, Groot follows Rocket through the ruins of the gate. They pick their way over smoldering blocks and twisted shreds of metal. Up ahead we can hear the noisy devastation being caused by the still galloping ursine.
Gotta be a way to an exit somewhere, a loading dock, something!
The air is full of smoke. Debris rains down from the ceiling. A figure looms out of the murk. It is the Shi'ar gladiator with the chrome sallet. Rocket reaches for his pistols, but the Shi'ar just looks at us and shakes his head.
No fight from me. This is not what I signed on for. I'm just looking for the exit.
Any suggestions?
Rocket has raised his hands to show he is no longer going for his sidearms.
Me? I'm heading for the sub-basement. They say there are ways out down there, into the dive town undercity, the rock pile levels. Maybe from there to the trash wastes. Who knows?
Good luck with that.
Good luck yourself. All hell's coming down. The cops are inbound. Nova Corps. I even heard someone say the Luminals had been mobilized.
Zarth's mightiest, huh?
I don't plan on sticking around to find out. I'm just going to slip out the back door. You got other plans?
Always.
The Shi'ar turns to go. He pauses.
Who are you people?
Rocket and Groot.
Oh... Never heard of you.
Same old, same old.
The Shi'ar vanishes into the smoke, shaking his head.
I am Groot.
The Undercity? No, not that way. Even with the heat coming. We need to accelerate our exit strategy. Let's get up to the landing pylons.
We start to move again, clambering through the wreckage. Rocket locates a broken security shutter that leads into a dank stairwell.
Now, if you want to turn that family road trip to Grandma's house into a treat, consider graphic audio recordings available on CD, MP3, flash drive, and even MP3 CD formats now at graphicaudio.net. Their menu includes a family-friendly section that brings up the recordings that they specifically recommend for either all ages or 13 and up. Our local Anythink libraries here in Denver have a pretty good collection of them on CD form as well. And if you and your family are Western fans, most of their collection is Westerns by assorted authors you may know. If you like this review, please be sure to like, share, and comment on YouTube or Patreon, as well as Twitter and Facebook. Remember, as little as $1 a month could help with our daycare issues and give me more time to podcast. Also, side note, I might be spending an entire week or two laid up with nothing else to do but podcast. So we'll let you know when that comes up, and you can please let me know what podcasts you want to hear more of as soon as possible. Now, as we head into this season of Travel, Family, and Friends, let's remember to keep trying to spend more time with those you love, not face down in the phones and pads and computers. This is the season, not just for celebration, but for bringing people together. Together in Thanksgiving, together in sharing. May your season be filled with laughter and family. And we'll see y'all down the road. God bless. What? Oh, yeah, you can say something now.